Oh, hey, how's it going? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the PreStream podcast. How's everyone doing? Today is Wednesday, the 23rd of March, 2022, and I, of course, am some random bum on the internet talking to a camera. Wow. I mean, you somehow accidentally stumbled upon this stream, and I feel very bad for you. I really do. Because you're about to be subjected to some of the horrors of content creation on the internet. What's up? Good morning, and how are you? I hope you're doing well. Of course, I am Darkside Phil. Hello. So, this is high quality content creation. You know? What's up? Alright, guys. How you doing? I hope you're doing alright, and I hope that so far your week's going good. This is my second of a 7-day streaming marathon. 7 days. Yeah, it's a lot. It's 14 straight streams, and we only did 2 done so far. That's a lot of streams, man. And basically today, I am taking in all of your feedback. I'm mulling it over. I'm letting it all stew in my head. Trying to determine what I should be doing coming Friday. This coming Friday, excuse me. For various reasons. You know, originally I had an idea or a schedule set out in stone of what I wanted to do this week. And then it kind of got smashed, dashed, and trashed. There you go. When early reviews came out yesterday, well, 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? I think it was 2 days ago, for Ghostwire Tokyo. The next game from Shinji Mikami, the maker of some classic Resident Evil games and the Evil Within series, and everyone was looking forward to his new game, and the opinions on it are incredibly mixed. Some people seem to like it, and some people say it gets boring within a few hours, and it's actually quite disappointing. So, with that being said, originally what I was going to do this Friday, I was going to do Ghostwire Tokyo and the new Kirby game, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, as double new release day. And then I was going to work those into the schedule for variety purposes, so that way it wasn't just me playing Elden Ring every day. Not to say that me playing Elden Ring every day has been a horrible experience. It's far from it. But definitely there's an air of, wow, Phil's changed in the last month, because he used to be the guy who does variety. And look, the last month it's been mostly Elden Ring every major stream. To which I would counter, yes, this absolutely is an anomaly. The game is so effing long that it seems like you need to play it at that pace in order to even make progress in it. You know what I mean? Like, if I wasn't playing Elden Ring as much as I did in the last month, it would be like I have a big bucket, and every day I just put a drop into the bucket. You know what I mean? Now, eventually, it will slowly start to rise, but how slowly? And that's kind of how Elden Ring feels, especially if you're doing a playthrough like I'm doing, where you're doing all the content that you stumble upon, every side dungeon. You're doing NPC quests to unlock optional story dungeons, which we're actually doing right now. And so, I'm really having a good time with the game, don't get me wrong. Although, admittedly, I don't think I'm kissing Elden Ring's butt like a lot of other people are. I'm being more matter-of-fact and honest with you guys about it and some of the criticisms I have of it as I play it. But still, I love it, and I'm having a great time with it. But people who are here and usually like variety, sadly, have not been very satisfied over the last couple of weeks when it's mostly been Elden Ring on my main gameplay stream. So I was like, oh, this Friday, it all changes, right? This Friday, I'll finally be doing variety again. And then these reviews came out, all right? So yesterday, I presented to you the options, and I said, basically, the way I see it is as follows. Number one, we could still go ahead as planned and play Ghostwire Tokyo regardless of the reviews. The reviews are not always right, and a lot of the times I like things reviewers don't like, or vice versa. So it may still be worth it. The game certainly, to me, looks interesting and unique. It absolutely does. Okay? Number two, we could play something completely different that you guys could basically kind of tell me what you want to see in place of Ghostwire Tokyo. There's tons of options out there, including games that I had already skipped because I didn't have time to play them during the time that I was playing Elden Ring and Horizon Forbidden West. Or three, we could just go ahead and keep playing Elden Ring as a daily stream until something else new comes out in early April, which would be like around the first week of April, okay? So, what I can tell you is, I've gotten your feedback over the last day, all right? And I have listened and tried to, you know, tally up what people are saying. At least within the first 24 hours, here's the impressions that I've gotten, all right? There's one camp that absolutely, positively want to see me play Ghostwire Tokyo regardless of the reviews. A lot of people have kind of said, listen, Phil, traditionally you're not one to actually listen to reviews. It's a little off-putting that you are listening to reviews so much these modern days because we understand, you know, things have changed and, you know, you're a full-time streamer. You only have so much time to play games. Yes, you have limited budget, etc., etc., etc. But you used to be the guy who rebelled against the reviewers. You always said that, you know, they're bad at what they do and you should take what they say with a grain of salt. And a lot of the times you would play a game that they didn't like that much and you end up really liking it. I'll give you some examples here, okay? Murdered Soul Suspect. That's a game that absolutely every single major media outlet completely trashed and said was terrible, and I actually liked the game, albeit it had a lot of shortcomings in its gameplay mechanics, but I loved the plot, and I thought it was a very interesting supernatural game. Or, notably, The Evil Within 2, the last game that Shinji Mikami actually made. The Evil Within 2 was actually not overwhelmingly favorably reviewed by mainstream reviewers, which is preposterous to me, because the game actually had more content. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 2022. If you're still buying insanely antiquated car alarms that go off when some idiot just like goes boop on your car, chances are it's not much of a theft deterrent and you're just an asshole. Just saying. Also, isn't it funny that people who usually buy those car alarms have the biggest piece of shit cars anyway? Trust me, I used to have one of those a long time ago, and I felt like a jackass every time it went off, and then I just basically disabled the fucking alarm entirely, and I never got another car alarm. There's no reason to have them. They don't do anything. They do not deter car theft. All they do is annoy everyone around them. Okay, so, Evil Within 2, I felt was better than the first game because, number one, it actually had way more content. Number two, it had an open world aspect to certain parts of it, which was never the case with the first game. The first game was incredibly linear, and I felt that was one of the shortcomings of the game. And I actually thought that the plot of the game was also very interesting, adding in side stories and other things that weren't in the first game. The first game was literally just the main plot, while the second one completely opened it up, okay? Now, if the same people who made Evil Within 2 moved on to make this new game, alright, then obviously it might be really good. It might be another situation where mainstream reviewers just don't get it and I'll like it more. I don't know. A few of my viewers have actually started playing the game a little early. I think there's an option where you pay extra and you play early or something like that. And they've said they actually think I would really like it, that I should play it, because it seems like as long as it's a game that you're open to exploring around, you're going to find a lot of interesting stuff, and it's actually quite of a creepy game because of the ghost stories and things in it. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'm down with that, I think, if people want to see me keep playing it. The other school of people seem to want me to play WWE 2K22. And there's quite a few of you. I know that because I've been listening to the feedback in the last 24 hours. And it's either play Ghostwire like planned or play WWE 2K22. The people who want to see me play WWE are essentially wrestling fans, which has always been a part of my core fan base. Why? Because I'm a lifelong wrestling fan, and I used to do a wrestling commentary show. I used to do ongoing yearly coverage of the WWE games. I used to do simulation fantasy matches. It's part of my content from my 13 plus years as a content creator on YouTube. People like that stuff, and the fact that there hasn't been any wrestling style content in almost 2 years on my channel because of the downfall of the WWE games, some people basically are like disappointed and or they're left kind of craving that content. To give you an example here, I'm an old school fighting game player. I love playing the classics. if I don't play old school Street Fighter for an extended period of time, I start to crave it. I like, seriously, like, man, I want to play it. I want to play it. And that's why I feel Friday Night Fights has been such a successful and unique series that I've done over the years, because now that I've integrated old school Street Fighter into my schedule, you can see that passion and that skill that I had for those games back in the day, and I don't have that craving because I get to satiate it once a week. I don't end up being like, I really want to play, I really want to play, you see? So it's kind of the same thing with WWE content. I get it. Now, I'm not a fan of WWE like I used to be. I don't watch the television shows anymore at all. Like, I literally have not watched wrestling in about 2 years now. But I still follow the trends on social media. I'm still aware of what's going on in the plot lines. Funny that I can still do that and never watch a piece of content. It's completely free. If you just follow the trend on Twitter, you know everything. So anyway, yeah, so basically those seem to be the two options, because the third option of continuing on with Elden Ring is the mainstream. Although, admittedly, there's people who like Elden Ring being the mainstream every day. I really do feel like after almost a month of that, there is a feeling that it needs to change, that I need to do something different rather than have the same game every single day. Now, admittedly, with Elden Ring not being the mainstream every day, you understand that progress is going to slow down. Right now, in Elden Ring, I'm about 63 hours into it, roughly, okay? And I'm only about halfway into the game. What people are saying is there's about 3 more major regions to the game for me to explore. And if I don't, keep up the pace I'm going, likely it's going to be another month or longer for me to beat the game. Yes, there's that much fucking content in Elden Ring. It's pretty out of control, in my opinion. And to the point where, I'll be honest with you, I'm feeling a little bit of the desire to criticize the game for the amount of content in it, but to determine what is the quality content. So I'll give you an example here. Right now, I'm in the middle of a bunch of optional story-based dungeons. I like them. They're really interesting. It feels like you're playing old-school Dark Souls. But then, there's all the optional dungeons that are in the game as well that are obviously meant to be there just for grindiness. You go in there, there's a bunch of traps, you have to flick the switch, the boss door opens, you fight a generic boss, you get a arbitrary reward, usually. It's definitely feeling to me like because the game is so long and has so much content that it kind of watered down the content. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I used to play a FromSoft game, it felt like every moment that I'm playing this game was meticulously designed by the game developers. Like, this is a lot of effort that we put into here to put this trap or this visual or this enemy and this boss to work like this or this or this. And in this game, I do get that, okay? In the story-based dungeons, which are called legacy dungeons, or in these optional dungeons that I'm currently doing right now, the Lost Cities, and now I'm in the Lake of Ra and all this. This feels like classic Dark Souls, and I like it. But those optional dungeons suck. Just being honest now, like, in comparison to the rest of the game, at first they're interesting, but then when you start to realize, man, they all look the same, they all play the same, you're going to get a really annoying generic boss fight that probably will be, quite frankly, harder than the story bosses. Right? The optional bosses seem to be more of a pain in the ass than the fucking story. So anyway, the point I'm making here is, I don't know if more necessarily is better. Maybe with the amount of content in the game, they could have streamlined it. Because if the game really is going to end up being a 120 to 140 hour playthrough for me, how many people are going to watch that whole thing? How many people aren't going to care by the end? How long is it going to take for me to beat it when I'm balancing it with other games? Because I've been playing pretty hardcore over the last month, and I'm only 63 hours in. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like this kind of game, it seems to me like if you're the kind of person that only plays one game at a time, this is probably one of the best games you've ever played. But for someone like me who juggles a lot of stuff, it's actually a little off-putting. I like it. I can't wait I seriously cannot wait to play more today. But at the very same time, when you've played for a month straight and people are telling you you're not even halfway through, it's like, dude, really? Like, I'll be sad. I'll be honest, I'm a little sad because I like how things are going right now, but I also know that I have a large part of my viewer base that's like, dude, when are you playing other stuff? This is ridiculous. You're doing the same thing every day. We want variety. And when I give you the variety, now I'm going to disappoint a group of people that want to see me just play Elden Ring. It's like I can't win either way because they made the game so goddamn long. You see what I'm saying? So that being said, yeah, it's very much a tough decision to determine what I'm going to do Friday. Here's what I can tell you. Something new is coming Friday. I've determined this. It's either going to be Ghostwire Tokyo or it's going to be WWE 2K22. Those are the two games that you guys in the last 24 hours have heavily suggested you want to see. Let's keep... If you haven't given me your feedback yet, please, by all means, give me feedback. All right? Let me know what it is you want to see coming up. I'm only going to do one of the two. There's absolutely no way I'm doing both. Okay? So... please let me know, and I will make a determination tomorrow. On tomorrow's PreStream podcast, I will announce what game I'm starting on Friday. Okay? I will. In the next 24 hours, I will determine it. Okay? And then after that, I'll kind of lay out a game plan for the rest of April, so you guys know kind of what's going on too. Alright? Since then I'll know. Okay. Alright. So there you go. I'll let you know. But your feedback is critical, man. Really, it is. Your feedback is critical right now. So please let me know. So, by the way, on the flip side of all of this, because it's all discussion about Ghostwire Tokyo, Elden Ring, and WWE, right? There's another game coming out on Friday called Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Guess what? I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. But, man, isn't it ironic? The Kirby game has gotten better reviews than Ghostwire Tokyo. The vast majority of people reviewing Kirby are saying it's an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. One of the best Kirby games ever made, and it actually has innovations in it that make it super duper fun compared to previous Kirby games. Wow. Really? Yeah. Great. I mean, I'm stoked about that. And it's funny because a lot of people were saying, you're going to play Kirby, but you're not going to play Ghostwire. You're going to play Kirby, but not play more Elden Ring. You're going to play Kirby, but not play WWE and Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy, and 10 other games that you skipped? Yeah, motherfucker, Kirby's good. There's still this weird mentality in the modern gaming era that, like, if you play Nintendo games like this, first-party Nintendo games, that they're only for kids. I still remember way back in the day when I played Kirby's Epic Yarn. Remember that? Over 10 years ago? And people gave me shit for it then. They literally were like, Phil, why are you playing this? This game is for kids. It's too easy. And admittedly, the game was super easy. But it was actually one of the most relaxing, chill, and fun playthroughs I'd ever done at that time. Keep in mind, this was before I was a live streamer. And I definitely know that there's an audience for that kind of a game. It's not necessarily a huge audience. But this is the chill playthrough, the chill streaming audience who just want to see something that is more relaxing, that is more interactive when it comes to, like, the time that I can interact with you guys, because I'm not every waking moment. It's not, oh my God, if I don't pay 100% attention to the game every moment that I'm playing, I'm going to die 700 times and then there's no point in me even streaming it. So fuck you guys. It's like you're not even here because I got to play this game, you know? Some games are the complete opposite of that, and that's a good thing. And I feel like that Kirby is going to be absolutely perfect as a late night stream where we make 2 hours of progress a session. There's no pressure to make that progress. It's fun, it's unique, it's creative, but also we could talk, we could chill. It's going to be a really good time to be a late night stream. Like, you know, Horizon's finishing tomorrow night. And quite frankly, I think that this playthrough might actually be much better than the chill stuff that I did in the last month. I'm just being honest. It seems like it's going to be the perfect example of what you want for a late night chill stream. You know what I'm saying? So that's good. It's absolutely good, and I can't wait for that on Friday. So, to make a long story short, in the next 24 hours, please continue to give me your feedback. Do you want to see Ghostwire Tokyo? Do you want to see WWE? Do you have a wild suggestion of something different? Let me know. I'll make a determination in the next 24 hours, and on tomorrow's PreStream podcast, I will announce what I'm going to be doing on Friday, okay? And by the way, in regards to the rest of April coming up, there's not that much going on with gaming in April. There's, like I said, the Lego Star Wars game at the very beginning, I think at the very tail end of the month, there might be a game too. But as of now, and this could, obviously, it could change. Oh, it's MLB 22 comes out. Oh, on the 5th? Well, what I would say is MLB The Show 22, it's a Game Pass game. So I might play it just for chill gaming purposes later in the month. Early in the month, we will not have opportunity. I'm going to be doing Elden Ring and balancing it with the new game. We're going to have Kirby at night balanced with Skyrim. That's enough. But maybe later in the month, we'll have opportunity to check it out, okay? But anyway, that's about it. Unless another game gets announced, which it very well might be, that might happen. I think that maybe in April, you know, whatever I don't play on Friday could still be played just a little bit later on in the month. It's a pretty dead month for new releases, okay? Okay. All right, so there you go. So let's briefly go over the schedule. Today, Elden Ring. I continue on in the optional dungeons that I'm in right now. Currently, we're in a Lake of Rot. Oh, boy. And I guess we'll see, I guess we'll see what happens if I could conquer the Lake of Rot and move on and see what else is coming up. There's also the other optional dungeon, which is the other Forgotten City that I'm only halfway through. Then after that, we can move on to the next area of the game, which I think is called the Atlas Plateau, and we can begin investigation of it, okay? So, there's a lot to do in the game. I'm excited for another major stream of Elden Ring today. Tonight, the late stream is Skyrim After Dark, a chill stream at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Last couple of streams, I've been focusing on the plot in a huge way, because we didn't have any plot advancement for a very long time. So I said, why not go to the main plot and push it forward a bit? So that way, at least we can say we know what's going on in the plot and determine when we want to go back to it or not. So maybe we'll even do more of that tonight, maybe not. We'll see. Okay, we have a lot of side quests to do too, a lot of different guilds and stuff that we can push forward progress in if we so desire. All right, tomorrow will be more of Elden Ring, and that'll be paired with the conclusion of Horizon Forbidden West. If you didn't see last night's Horizon stream, I would argue that you missed out, and here's why. Even though it was all side content, because I basically have hit the final mission of the game, and I very well could have beaten the game last night if I wanted to. I said, you know what, this is my last opportunity to do any side content in the game. Let's do some. So what did I do? I ended up doing 2 quests that were end-game side missions that basically if you use the flying bird / pterodactyl or whatever you want to call it, it actually makes them incredibly easy. So I did those 2, and I ended up getting legendary rewards. Like, I got a crazy good new weapon that blows up for insane damage even on bosses. Then I completed the Alva companion quest side mission, and then there was like one more mission that I did. I ended up getting really good armor. So basically in 2 hours time, I got a ton of 2 great new weapons and new armor, to the point where it was like, wow, that was like the meaningful side content of the game, and it was all at the end. A lot of the side content in this game, you spend grinding doing these missions, and you get junk rewards. This actually was some of the most rewarding side content I had ever done in the game, and it definitely prepared me for the finale tomorrow night, okay? So, I hope you will join me tomorrow night for the conclusion of the game that I've been playing for a month to see how it all ends. And I'll actually give my mini review of the game on that stream as well, okay? Friday, as I've already mentioned, yes, I will be playing a new game on Friday's main gameplay stream, but what will it be? I don't know. I will make that determination in the next 24 hours, so please keep giving me your feedback. And then Friday night will be the premiere of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Saturday, I don't know. Sunday, I don't know. Monday, I don't know. Here's what I can tell you. Some of those days will be Elden Ring. Some of them will be whatever the new game is. We'll balance it out. Probably like 2 and 2. So it'll be new game Friday, maybe new game Saturday, Elden Ring, new game Sunday, or maybe it'll be like new game, Elden Ring, new game, Elden Ring. I don't know. We'll see, but it'll be a balance. There will be Kirby, but my Friday night fights, which is typically my old school Street Fighter session, will actually be held on Saturday night this week, not Friday. So I just want to let everyone know that up front. Please be aware, Friday Night Fights is moving 1 day forward. I don't want anyone to miss out on Friday Night Fights because it's not on Friday night. It's on Saturday night this week. Okay? All right. So I'm here every day through Monday. Tuesday is my next day off, just so everybody knows. Okay? So that's the deal. I hope that sounds good to you. And may the best game win, I guess you should say. Although, it's not necessarily going to be a number thing. It's not going to be, oh, you know, 40 people told me to play WWE, 41 people told me to play Ghostwire, so I'm playing Ghostwire. It's not like that. I'm basically going to look at the situation and determine for myself what I want to do based on your feedback, okay? All right, cool. Outside of all of that, a few other things. Number one, no, if you haven't noticed, Ask the King is not in the cards right now. Ask the King is a great show to do when either, number one, there's not a lot going on and I need some filler content, or number two, if there's been a long time for whatever reason we haven't had a lot of good Q&A discussions and things. But if you haven't noticed, there's been a few pre-stream podcasts in the last couple of weeks that I opened to Q&A and we have good discussion like that. So it's not even like, there's no opportunity for you to ask me questions and have interaction or anything like that. I really don't think Ask the King makes sense right now. Just being honest. I'm so busy and inundated with games as it is. Do I really want to take a major stream away from games to do a Q&A show? In addition, as I've already told you guys, next week, there's going to be a couple nights at least where I cannot do a late night stream because I got to work on my taxes. So I'm already taking time away from my streams to do something. And I then want to do another stream that's Q&A and then take away night streams? Like, I will make no progress on anything. So Ask the King is on hiatus for now. When will it happen again? I don't know. We're going to wait for things to calm down with this crazy marathon of games before we get to Ask the King. Similarly to that, you know, we had discussions late last year and then again earlier this year about me upgrading my setup, right? When will Phil get a new PC? When will Phil get a new webcam? When will Phil do green screen? When will Phil do this or do that and do this and do that? And basically what I told you guys was I didn't feel comfortable upgrading and changing out my equipment and my setup until we got to a point in the year where things slowed down, right? I was like, man, it's the busy gaming season of the fall. I definitely don't want to do something now where I change my equipment and then all of a sudden now I run into technical difficulties. I can't stream because of it, or the streams, you know, dip in quality right in the middle of an ongoing epic playthrough that everyone's following, you know, Elden Ring. So it's kind of the point I was thinking is let's wait. And then what ended up happening was more games got announced for the early 2022 time period than ever before in any year. Like you guys know the insane marathon of games we've had over the last month to month and a half. And it's just like, dude, there's zero opportunity to do this. All right? What I will tell you is this. Later this year, when things calm down with this insane amount of game releases, all right, then I will look to possibly do some upgrades to the setup. I've already had multiple people who contacted me behind the scenes and said they want to be, you know, invested in this process. They're interested in either, you know, getting me components for a new PC setup or even just getting me a whole pre-built PC, because right now getting components is nearly impossible with the inflation and everything going on. You can't really get them. You know what I mean? So already there's people who are, you know, are willing to step up and say, we'd love to see you have a better setup and do better quality stuff. I agree. I've been using this setup for 8 freaking years. Yeah, if you can believe it. When I moved here in 2014, I bought a new PC, a new capture device. Then within that first year, new microphone. You know, everything here is 8 years old, essentially. And I've been doing this for 8 freaking years. I think it's pretty damn good that the equipment held up that long. But at some point, you got to get past it. You got to move on to the new, right? And I definitely feel that right now. And it sucks that right now, I really can't even do it. Since the fall, I was like, okay, I'm set on doing this. We'll explore it when it's the right time. We still aren't in the right time. I'm so inundated and backlogged on games, I don't even have time to do Ask the King. I don't have time to play all the games, you see? So, that being said, we will explore this later this year. Possibly, you know, late spring, early summer maybe, if things slow down with games. We got to see what happens. Hopefully things will at some point slow down and have an opportunity to explore new things, you know. I would love to have a better webcam. I would love to have better quality streams that don't pixelate as much. You know what I'm saying? And there's not much I can do about that. We'll see. Okay? All right. Last but certainly not least, thank you to those who have been keeping engagement alive here on DSP Gaming. I'm talking about you guys who are watching the streams and you're enjoying yourselves and you give the stream a like. You guys who are watching the on-demand videos, you like them, you're liking those videos, and you're leaving comments on them. This engagement has superbly helped this channel in the last month and a half. Since all the new releases started hitting, and you guys kept the engagement up, subscriptions are up, You know, overall view time up, views up, everything is up, and that's a great thing. So thank you guys. Let's keep that going. Now, before idiots start to spin things in a super negative light, last night on the Horizon Forbidden West stream, yes, indeed, it was the first stream in over 2 months. We did not hit 100 likes on the stream. We hit like 90 something, right? It was off by like a small handful of likes. Is it the end of the world? Not at all. Me having an arbitrary goal of 100 likes on every stream is not a big deal. It's not like, oh, if I don't hit 100 likes, that's the end of the world and the channel is falling apart or anything like that at all. In fact, last night, you know, with that stream, I understand that people's interest in Horizon Forbidden West has fallen off tremendously. I'm just grateful that there are at least a couple hundred people who keep coming back to watch me play it when I do. It was not a game that retained viewership at all. After that first week of me playing it, as soon as Elden Ring came out, all the interest for the game fell off. Even though I continued to enjoy and play it, the majority of my viewership did not. They were like, man, just move on, do something else. I was like, nah, I'm going to stick with it. I kind of like the game. I want to keep going. But, you know, I get it. It's not a huge deal that we didn't hit the 100 likes on stream last night. I'm sure there are morons out there who probably would think it's a big deal, and they make big drama videos and fucking streams about it and shit. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You know, that was an arbitrary goal that I set up to try to hit every stream. It doesn't mean anything if we hit it or we don't hit it. What I can tell you is, if we do hit 100 likes on a stream, it helps a lot. For the engagement purposes, it keeps things going on DSPGaming. It keeps more people's eyes on the content. They can find the content more easily. It's in related videos, suggested videos, etc. If you don't hit it on one stream, it's not a big deal at all. Okay? So please don't listen to the idiots who are saying the sky is falling, it's all over. You know. Okay. I was almost going to make a reference to another content creator, someone who over the years always tends to make videos like that about me, but I won't do that. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let us do some shout-outs. All right? So first of all, on the YouTube side of things, we have absolutely nothing. No memberships, no super chats, no super stickers, nothing to shout out. Absolutely nothing. So because of that, I got nothing. Don't look at me. I got nothing. But we do have stuff on the tip side of stuff, okay? So, let's do some shout-outs for tips, shall we? Shall we? What's funny is that someone just said I'm not allowed to super chat anymore. I don't know what to tell you. Every day I come over here and I look at my monetization options, and I click on them and I look around and it says your memberships are enabled, and here they are, and here's your super chats. Super chats are enabled, and here they are. You know, and I look at it, I'm like, it all works. It's all working. But for the past week, I've had people tell me it seems like they can't super chat. I don't know what to tell you. I'm a content creator and a streamer. I make gameplay coverage. I don't work for YouTube. I wish I knew what was going on with certain people. I don't, because I don't work for YouTube. It sounds like a technical issue on their side. So if you're someone who typically liked super chatting or doing a super sticker, or for some reason you can't re-up your membership, or you just can't become a member in general, you got to contact YouTube on these issues. I'm just the guy who makes the content. I don't run the site. I don't know what they've done. It's very possible that they potentially made changes in the last month that certain territories are affected, or certain issues are happening. I don't know. And I certainly am not the person, sadly, to help you. I can't, you know. I'm not a troubleshooter. I have no direct line of contact with YouTube outside of when you get to a certain level on YouTube, like a certain level of views and a certain level of subscribers, etc., they do give you access to like 24/7 support. So right now, if something was going wrong on YouTube, I could basically contact someone via a chat and explain what was going on, and they would try to help me. But even then, these people are not well versed on YouTube. They're basically just people sitting there 24/7 chatting, and then they take your information and they either try to talk to someone who knows the answers, or they just read from a form letter. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not, you know, oh, I have a red phone sitting over here, and whenever I have a YouTube issue, I pick up the emergency phone, and it gets right to YouTube HQ, and I talk to Susan. I say, hey, Susan, YouTube screwed up again, man. She said, oh, I'm sorry about that, Mr. Burnell. Let me fix it. That's not the case. It's never been the case, okay? So, yeah, if you guys cannot super chat, sorry. I don't know what the issue is. That sucks. I just checked, and on my end, it looks fine. It very well could be a technical issue on the YouTube side of things, and if it is, please contact YouTube and let them know that this is an ongoing issue, because people were telling me about this last week, but then other people were super chatting, no problem. Some people said I can't become a member, then people were becoming members, no problem. So I don't know what the root cause is of this. I don't work for YouTube. I can't figure that out for you. On my end, everything is fine. So I don't know what to tell you. All right? What I can say is this. If you want to support the channel and you can't super chat and that kind of stuff, and you really don't want to tip me, for some reason people are so adamantly against PayPal, they absolutely don't want to involve themselves with PayPal. You go to my Patreon, patreon.com, patreon.com/darksidephil, and you could pledge there. And that does not involve PayPal whatsoever, and that still helps me just as much as any other contribution method, okay? Das Boschet says, do you have blacklisted words because super chats can get rejected if a message contains them? Yes. There are tons of blacklisted words. It's all the common YouTube blacklisted words. It's basically just a switch you flip, and then it kind of turns off certain words. And let me tell you guys, as much as some people would be like, well, listen, because you have those words, it's like you have censorship on your channel. Let me tell you something. This channel, the chat has dramatically improved since those common terms were turned on. You have no idea the amount of comments on a daily basis that idiots will say in this chat and get blocked and not publicly said because of those filters. It is much better to have them than to not have them. If we got to a situation where maybe that wasn't the case and it was just like a lot of censorship and it was annoying, then I would turn them off. But having those common filters on have worked tremendously to stop idiots. Let's just put it that way, okay? Okay. By the way, as we were having that discussion, 672 just did a super chat and proved that it still works. And he says, test. Hold on. How about a quick live poll for viewers to choose the game for tomorrow and get it figured out now? No, we're not doing that now because, number one, not everyone who is a factor in this decision is live on this very stream. We only have about 300 people on the stream, and climbing, by the way, because as I start to play the game, usually more people attend for Elden Ring. But it's not just about the people sitting here on this pre-stream. It's about people watching on demand as well, and people who are also attending the late streams, who are a big factor in this. So I'm weighing and balancing everyone's feedback. I'm not just going to do a poll. And by the way, you know what would happen if I do a poll? These idiots would try to fucking skew it. So there's no point in doing that. Thank you for the super chat. Okay. Let's do shout-outs for tips. We start off today. The first tip is from Anso Kamaru, who tipped $1.50 and says the following. I put Elden Ring on hiatus for now. It's great, but it's too damn long. I got burnt out. I'm currently juggling Anno Mutationem. I don't know how to pronounce it either. And Strangers of Paradise while waiting for Ghostwire Tokyo. Great times for games right now. I agree with you, and it's insane because if you look at the releases of the last 2 months at this point, this looks like the hardcore gaming season. This is the equivalent of the fall gaming season in February, March. It really doesn't make sense, except that most of these game companies have said games were delayed because of COVID and want to get these sales on the books for this last quarter of the year financially. So, yeah, it's insane. Like, I don't even know how anyone has had time to play all the games that they wanted to play in the last month to 2 months. Unless you only wanted to play one game. Like, if you just wanted to play Horizon, if you just wanted to play Elden Ring, if you just wanted to play Strangers of Paradise, however many people that was, you know what I'm saying? But outside of that, everyone's like, oh, juggling 2-3 games, can't get through this one, oh, putting this one on hiatus, blah, 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 you know? It's pretty crazy. Jan tipped me $1.50, and he says, not to be rude to your viewers. Oh, boy. Always when you preface that, it means that you're going to be not rude, right? I feel like Kirby will be one of the games a lot of the viewers will not give a chance and write off. I can imagine them now saying, oh, Kirby, yawn. It won't matter how good it is. Sadly, they'll just say it's Kirby. Then Jan tipped another $1.50. And he says, funny enough, as I tipped, I saw in the stream chat, Kirby, that's a kid's game, boring. How do they know it's boring? It's literally not even released yet. So what if it's a kid's game? I just don't get it. They got to give it one stream at least to see it. Yes, you see, Jan, I hate to say it, but people who act like that, listen, first of all, I want you to understand that everyone's entitled to their opinion, and I get that. You don't have to like every game that I like. You don't have to dislike every game that I dislike. You know, over the years, I've definitely realized that the phrase different strokes for different folks is definitely pertinent, especially when it comes to the gaming landscape. There's games out there that people absolutely love, and I could give two shits about, right? Just in particular, just a few off the top of my head, MMOs, the cooperative looter-shooter genre, and or any really of the cooperative shooter genres, and just in general, doesn't have to be looter-shooter. MOBAs, right? Like, there's certain genres of game I don't care. Oh, the social games. And what I mean by that is, like, Among Us and shit like that, where the only way that it's good is if you team up with a bunch of people on the internet just to fucking talk stupidly in the chat while you're playing the silly game, right? That stuff never appealed to me, never. And it's okay. It's okay that not every game appeals to every person. But for you to sit there and essentially shit on people, like pull your pants down, spread your cheeks, and unload a disgusting dump on someone because they like a game is kind of messed up. Okay, I get it. You think Kirby is a kid's game. You think that the first-party Nintendo games are made for a dumbed-down audience. They're not necessarily as challenging as other games, right? Oh, they're not enough adult-oriented content. There's not enough of this or that, okay? Great, I get it. It's not your personal like. You don't have to watch people play those games. You don't have to play those games yourselves, and you don't have to attend streams or videos of that. In particular, with me, I go out of my way to be a variety content creator, right? This month has kind of been an exception with Elden Ring, but for the most part, I try to juggle a variety of games, so that way if one is not something you like, there's two more that you can watch that hopefully do appeal to you. And if absolutely nothing I do appeals to you, you could still watch the PreStream podcast, which is a whole different animal entirely. And if you don't like the PreStream podcast, and you don't like the other games I'm playing, then probably you just don't like me, in which case, what are you doing on my channel? So all that being said, you don't like Kirby. Okay. You're entitled to your opinion. Thanks. I'll see you when I play another game. Please don't come to the stream and crap on Kirby constantly. There's no point. You know, we're all going to be enjoying it. I know for a fact I'll be enjoying it. My viewing audience will be enjoying it who likes that style of game. We're looking for a more relaxing experience. A game that outside of the ultra stressful games like Elden Ring and the like, we're looking for something that's a very different style of stream and gameplay experience. Please respect that. All right? And please know that if that's not what you're here for, it's not your cup of tea, don't hang out on those streams and just sit here and complain. All right? You're entitled to your opinion, but man, you sure don't have to shove it down our throats. We get it. If you don't like it, don't torture yourself and torture all of us with your negative attitudes. You understand what I'm saying? And by the way, people who like Kirby may not like Elden Ring, and vice versa goes for that. If you like Kirby, don't come to my Elden Ring stream and crap on Elden Ring because I like Elden Ring. Okay? Thank you. Please just be respectful of everyone around you, and you'll be happy. Just like me. There you go. Okay. Now, so thank you, by the way, Jan. I agree with your points that you were making there. The next tip is from Kay, who tipped me $2 and says the following. Regarding Ghostwire Tokyo, reviewers could be wrong. There have been times when you've played games and called out mainstream reviewers for being very, very wrong on their low reviews. I wouldn't call a lot of mainstream reviewers trustworthy. Yeah, and it's, you know, there's a ton of factors that come into play here. There's the fact that, number one, mainstream reviewers, a lot of cases, don't pay for anything. They literally get everything for free. So when you have no financial investment in something, you probably tend to overestimate its worth because you didn't pay for it. So if the game's not as good, you don't feel the pain of, oh, my wallet is burning. You see? Number two, reviewers, a lot of cases, I hate to say it, have this unspoken relationship with game companies where even though there's nothing on paper that says, oh, I will say, what? This fucking webcam's going crazy again. Whatever. Mainstream reviewers tend to have this unspoken agreement with game publishers that if they continue to cover games at least in a semi-positive way, that game publisher will trust that gaming outlet to continuously give them free publicity, and therefore they will continue to provide early access coverage to their games. And I'm not just talking you get the game early. I'm talking come to our press event 4 months before the event or the game launches and get early content so you have articles and things to put on your website and shit like that. It really is this unspoken, you know, handshake between gaming media and game publishers. As much as they like to deny it, it's fucking undoubtedly true. When you have this potential collaboration in the back of your head, it's always going to skew how you review a game, as opposed to someone who literally has absolutely nothing to gain or lose by saying a game is good or bad, who then can be honest, and that's it. You know that there's no ulterior motive. I'm not getting a paycheck to say a game is good, and by the way, I'm small potatoes. If I slam a game, I'm not going to get inflated views and all of a sudden now I make a big paycheck because I'm being negative about a game either. So therefore, you know, when I'm telling you my truthful opinion about a game, it's truthful. It's not me for one reason or another skewing my what I'm saying about the game. See what I'm saying? So that being said, I agree that a lot of the times these game the reviewers, mainstream journalists, don't do a good job. In addition, another thing you really have to understand, games journalists are not playing the finished version of the game. They're always playing the pre-final patch, pre-online version of the game. So, especially a game with that major online component, they're never reviewing the truthful game. Not once. They're not reviewing the truthful experience of what you're going to get when that game finally releases at retail. Okay? In addition, a lot of these reviewers have major time constraints. Imagine if you're working for, I don't know, Kotaku. 3 days before Elden Ring comes out, you're given a review code. Here you go, beat the game in 3 days. Wait, what? You want me to beat Elden Ring in 3 days? Yeah. So do you think you have time to go explore all the content and do all the missions in Elden Ring? No. You're turboing through it. You're trying to get as far as you possibly can and get to the end in 3 days. You don't see half the shit in the game. Review it. That's a lot of the situations that these guys are putting up against. And a lot of times you got to actually feel bad for someone who's put into that kind of a crazy, unfair situation. You're supposed to do an honest review on a game when you're not given the proper time to actually play through it. And now you're supposed to do a good job. You know, like, it's fucked up, but that's the industry. And that's why I keep telling you guys these early reviews absolutely should not be, like, treated like the God's honest Bible truth on these games. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, thank you, Kay, for your tip. I received a $5 anonymous tip. Thank you to the anonymous tipper. Let's get that up on the leaderboard. And actually, that's the biggest tip so far today. Cool. Then I received another $5 tip from David, who says, looking forward to Kirby chill streams. Me too. Me too. I'm looking forward to some new chill streams because Horizon's a good game, but man, I really do feel like it's over now. Let's get it done and let's move on to other stuff. You know what I mean? Okay. Atlas Telemon is here. He did the $1.50. He says, I haven't been to all your Elden Ring... oh, wait a minute. Let's try again. I haven't seen all your Elden Ring episodes on YouTube. I did see a lot of it and quite a few live. I really enjoyed the playthrough, and as you know, I love your Ask the King series. I'm looking forward to the next one. Almost at 100 episodes, I believe. Epic. Yeah. You know, and I will continue the show. It's not like Ask the King isn't going to continue. I don't want people to feel like, oh my god, Phil's canceling the show. It's just that it doesn't make any sense right now to do it. It really, this is like one of the worst times I could ever done it, so... Jeff tipped me $1.50, says, this is very important. We have a lot of emotes that are not high up on the usability scale, while DSP Cozy is missing. I suggest removing lull or as they are very similar to each other. DSP Cozy is important to give the chat chill vibes. Well, there you go. Jeff is thinking we should swap out some emotes. Keep in mind, we were only 9 members away from hitting a new emote last month, and then we never did it, and now we plummeted back down to 350. You know, we were that close to hitting 400 and unlocking a new emote. I can't win with the sounds today. every possible kind of sound outside. Distracting. Anyway, yeah, we can always look to switch around emotes if you guys have a consensus on what you'd like, what you want me to remove. We can do that on the fly here on YouTube. It's literally a momentary thing where you can go delete this emote, add this emote. It's that easy. So, Alice Telemont to me $1.15 says to switch things up. Would you be open to exploring all the clothing that you have in Elden Ring? Mix and match to see what looks awesome and which stats combine best. One version disregarding heavy load or not, just focus on aesthetics, another for stat specific. I mean, it's definitely a possible thing to do, and I wouldn't be surprised to hear that a lot of content creators may do something like that. Like, I've actually heard there's a series called Fashion Souls, where what people would do is play through like a Dark Souls game, get all the major armor sets, and then sit around combining different armor to see what looks good, and then actually, like you said, comparing the stats and say, oh, look, this is the best build for anti-poison, and this is the best build for anti-magic. You know, I hear that. Do we really have time to do that right now? You know what I mean? Like, I've been playing Elden Ring for a straight month, and we're halfway through. Is it now time for the fashion show? I don't know. I'll tell you right now, we're in a unique situation with the fashion I got on because we're in the Lake of Rot. And I need to get through this lake, and I'm trying to put on stuff that has the highest immunity. And if you want my honest opinion, I don't think it really helps that much. I really don't. The whole From Software series has always been like, oh, look at all these stats, and then you put stuff on, it doesn't do shit. Like, oh. So really, these stats don't matter. No. If you fucking go naked, it doesn't even matter. Seriously. So there you go. So thank you, Atlas. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. It's definitely a possibility in the future. Another super chat came through from Big James Roadblock, who says, good to see ya. You helped me get through some Darksiders levels back in the day. Wow, Darksiders. If you mean the original Darksiders, holy shit, that game, when it was new, was actually the game that I put into the intro segment of the original Hateful Truth game review series from way back in the day. Very, very old game, like, compared to, you know, stuff that I do today. I mean, that was one of the first, you know, that RPG-style playthroughs that I did. So, pretty cool. All right. LG Power Gaming says, hello. I've been a fan of your videos for a long time. Love your content. Thank you, LG Power Gaming. Nice of you to say. Peacock Watcher says, talking of fashion, how do I keep such nice 12-year-old shirts looking so fresh? Quite frankly, I just wash them and wear them, and that's it. You know, I don't know. It's weird because I'm the kind of guy, all right, that and this has always been this way in my life. I will wear stuff till it wears the fuck out big time before I get rid of it. I'll give you a perfect example. The pants I'm wearing right now, I remember when I purchased them. It was 2013, the winter of 2013. I was looking to get heavier pants for the winter season. And I went to the local mall, and there was a store that had opened up there called Uniqlo. And it was unique because it was like Japanese clothing design. And I bought 2 pairs of these pants at that time. And I've been wearing them ever since. Now, these have a hole in the back. The back pocket that's sewn on, ripped on the edge. And there is a hole on my ass in these pants. Is it a big hole? No, it's about this big. It's a very small, relatively small hole. But I don't care. I wear these pants everywhere. I wear them, you know, every day when I'm a content creation, you know, streaming, making videos. Sometimes I'll go out with these pants on, big hole in my ass. I don't care. Who cares? That's the kind of guy I am. I usually wear my shoes till there's a hole in my shoes. When the hole appears, then I say it's time for new shoes. Okay? I was wearing holy underwear. My underwear had tons of holes in it. I don't know how this happened. I don't have spikes on my ass. But apparently there were big rips and tears in my underwear for like 8 months. Until finally, yes, I have an update on the... Are you ready for the update on the story? So my wife and I were out, and my wife had enough. And she actually yelled at me. And she said, what are you doing? Why are you still wearing holy underwear? This has to stop. So she bought me a pack of new underwear. And I'm now wearing Hanes. I'm now wearing Hanes underwear that don't have holes in them. I threw out the ones that had holes in them. And by the way, I owned that holy underwear for about 8 years. Something like that. I think 8 years is a good time period for me. I wear something until it gets enough holes in it that I finally, like, throw it out. Okay? I still own clothing from the early 2000s, like jackets and things like that. I have a leather bomber jacket. I don't even know when I got it. It's so old, I couldn't tell you when I actually got it. What I remember is I had a leather bomber jacket, and I used to go to arcades in the early 2000s, and one of them got stolen. I had taken it off and threw it in a pile of jackets at the arcade, and some asshole went through and stole people's jackets. And at the end of the night, we go home, and a bunch of people's jackets are missing. We're like, what the fuck? This asshole stole everyone's jackets, including my leather bomber jacket. So then I bought another one, and I can't tell you when that was, and I still have the replacement leather bomber jacket. I still have a black trench coat, a leather trench coat from my high school years. Okay? That's just how I am. I keep stuff around until it's logically worn out. This t-shirt right here that I'm wearing, okay? Look at it. Mushroom Kingdom Pizzeria. Piping hot. And then on the back... Well, you can't. There's absolutely no way I could get it in frame here. On the back, it shows Toad, and Toad is driving a Mario Kart, and it has a banner that says like arrives at your castle in like 10 minutes or 20 minutes or less, or it's free or something like that. I've owned this shirt. Oh, there you go. See that? Can you see it? You probably can't see it. But anyway, I've owned this shirt for over 10 years, I believe. I think it was early on, when I was first getting my real mainstream appeal as a content creator on YouTube, and it was either probably like 2011, I started going to gaming conventions, okay? And at the gaming conventions that I went to, this is when video games were basically going super duper mainstream, okay? For the first time, that they were actually viewed that way. They were becoming bigger business than movies and television and everything combined. So people were realizing we can capitalize on that. And there were entire booths at these conventions selling merch like this, okay? So I bought a whole bunch of t-shirts at that time. And admittedly, some of them were better than others. I remember I had a Slow Bro shirt. I had all kinds of stuff from back then. A lot of them didn't survive. A lot of them just kind of wore out over time. And then, you know, you never really... I threw them out, or I took them out of the rotation. Some of them, sadly, I hate to say, any of those ones that have that, like, shiny print, it breaks and falls off the shirt. This one is not that. It's that other print style, which I don't know if it's called screen printing or whatever. There's two different ways to make t-shirts. And one way looks really good at first and then falls apart, and the other way doesn't. And this one is just one of the ones that lasted a very long time. So I kept it around and in the rotation of shirts for the longest time. Most of the shirts that I wear today actually are shirts that my wife has purchased for me over the years. You know, she you know, saw a nice shirt at a store or whatever when she was out, and she's like, oh, I'll grab this for him. This will look nice on a stream. So the vast majority of shirts that you see in the rotation are or a lot of the shirts that you see right now are actually from like old Loot Crates. Remember when I used to have my Loot Crate partnership a million years ago before the company went out of fucking business and then got redesigned and came back? So, yeah, so basically a lot of the shirts you see are old stuff. And I'm okay with that because they're still fun. They're still gaming related, right? I'm not you guys know me, I'm not a fashion guy. I don't care about, you know, oh, I'm going to go spend a lot of money on clothes and look spiffy and shit. That's not me. It's never been me. That's not the kind of person I've ever been. I don't care about that kind of, like, what's the word? What's the word when you care so much about your physical appearance and it becomes like a part of your persona? I don't want to say conceited, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you're conceited because you care how you look or you want to look good for a viewing audience, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's never been a big deal for me. Plus, let's be honest, my face is not exactly the most attractive thing to look at all day anyway, so why bother spending a ton of money on how you look when your face cannot change? You know what I'm saying? I can put on a suit and tie and fucking look spiffy as shit, and the face will still be the same. It won't matter, you see? So who really cares how much money you put into that shit? I know that there's people out there that's it, materialistic. Yusuf hit it on the head. Materialistic. That you're so into what you own or how you look, right? I spent $1 million on a fucking watch. Who cares? It's a watch. Well, I have it, so, you know, now look at that. Look at me. I'm fancy man. Well, no, actually, you just spent a lot of money on a stupid watch that you're never going to use. You're a moron. But that's what I mean. Materialistic people don't see that. It's all about, oh, I spent $500 on Yeezys. I'm not even going to comment on how stupid that is. But I think you understand what I'm saying, right? So yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, I've never been like that. So you're not going to see me going crazy over what I'm wearing on a stream or whatever. In fact, I couldn't even tell you the last time I added a new shirt to the rotation. A year ago? Was it the Stone Cold shirt a year ago? I think it was a year ago. Yeah, it's been quite some time. And it's actually funny because I remember it was a few months ago. My wife and I were out at a clothing store. It was probably like a Kohl's or something. I don't know. And we were looking, and they had some pop culture shirts, and there was a few video game shirts and things there. And she was like, oh, I want to get you a shirt or two. I was like, well, that's nice, but I kind of have, like, too many already. You know, like, I have a drawer that I put all my gaming and shirts in that I wear every day on stream. I was like, it's kind of, like, overflowing. So unless we go through that drawer and decide that we want to phase out some shirts, I don't think we should buy any new ones. And she was like, all right, fair enough. And then we didn't get any new ones. And I haven't really phased any shirts out in a long time. So unless I do, I feel like I probably won't be adding anything new to the rotation, you know? Okay. Mythical Pepe says, I spent $1,200 on a suit. That's a lot of money. Now, if you're someone who needs to wear a suit a lot, and you feel like you're going to get a lot of use out of it, and by spending that much money, you feel that the suit would be quality enough that you would get value out of it, then I wouldn't fault someone for spending a ton of money on a suit. But if you're someone who literally, I'm going to wear the suit once or twice and never again, I have no need for a suit, and you spend $1,200 for a suit, I think you see my point here about, you know, being materialistic, frivolous spending, and the like, you know. Yellow Yoshi, no, he says, are your shirts for the stream considered a business expense? No, and there's a couple reasons why. Number one, because like I just said, I don't buy the shirts. My wife does. So since she's buying them, not me, that's not a business expense. And number two, like, I'm trying to think, like, when the last time I bought a shirt. No, because like I said, the other shirts were actually free. They were from Loot Crate. I've never actually, in like a decade, spent any money on a shirt. So they wouldn't be business expenses or anything like that. I don't actively spend money on that. No. There's plenty of things that are valid business expenses, but the shirts would not be one right now. If I went out right now, if I went to the store and I dropped $200 on a wardrobe, and that wardrobe was to be exclusively worn in my streams or videos, like that, it was actual wardrobe for me dressing up for stream, that could be considered a business expense. However, and here's the however, let's say, for example, I was going to buy a suit, and that suit was to be worn in a video or stream, but then also I decided I was going to wear that suit out for personal use. That cannot be a business expense. Because then they argue, well, actually, it's kind of dual use, you know? It's very tricky. This is why I have a good tax guy who does this for me. I outline all my expenses, and I tell him this is what's spent on this, for this project, for this, for this. He figures it all out. I don't deal with that. Okay. Oh, by the way, let me open the window here. There we go. Phew. All right. Anything else, guys? Any other questions? Any other concern? We already covered all the shout-outs for the stream. By the way, thank you to everyone who's liked the stream so far and engaged with it. I appreciate that. It always helps. More engagement, the better. Helps people find the streams on YouTube. Thank you for that. Oh. I'm just kidding. What's going on? Every time I do that joke, people react in a different way. It's funny. LG Power Gaming, you're welcome. He says, thanks for sticking to yourself and making content for all these years. You're welcome. Zero Wolverine says, you just gave the detractors content. That damn straight. Here's some more content. There you go. They got lots of content today, like I care. Who gives a shit about them? All right, guys, last chance. If you got any questions, any concerns, anything you want to talk about, now is the time to get out of the way before we jump into Elden Ring. So let's last opportunity. Anyone wants to chat, let's do it now. Zero Wolverine, we already talked on this very stream about reviews and how they impact the content. I'm not going to go into and reiterate myself on the same pre-stream podcast. You obviously weren't listening. Big Papa Phil says, what's one of the proudest things you can look back on as a content creator? I'd say it's how you have reinvented yourself as a variety streamer. What I would say is thus. The thing that really I feel good about is knowing that I've been around as long as I have, and there's still a viewing audience that feels that what I do is pertinent to their daily lives, both as gamers and people, whether that means that they just find entertainment factor watching me, they find information or informative content out of what I put out, or if they just find it as a place to relax and chill, that people still value what I do while I was still true to myself. Because there's so many content creators out there who over the years had to completely and utterly change who they were as a person and or as a content creator, just to basically make a buck. And I've never done that. I had many opportunities over the years to involve myself in those kinds of efforts. Early on, when I was a YouTuber in his formative days, I was offered many opportunities for collaboration, many opportunities to essentially sell out and become a paid shill for various projects, for various games, and various things like that. I basically turned them all down because I said, no, I like who I am. I want to be honest with my audience. I would never want to be someone who's basically, taking a paycheck for doing something that I don't feel good about, okay? In anything, in essence, if you look at the entire span of the content that I make, outside of a few very specific situations that I have absolutely apologized for because I realized how wrong they were and how stupid and ignorant I was way back when, you can look at the 13-year span of content that I've put out and at least say thus, wow, Phil had a good time, he entertained an audience, and he didn't really hurt anyone. You know what I'm saying? Like, concretely, there are people out there who over the years, they have to put out hit pieces, they have to do really bad conspiracy theory drama crap, they basically have to insult game developers and or constantly attack certain people. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the wide variety of stuff I've done in 13 years, all right, I never really went that far to the point where it was like, well, now it's time to get over at the expense of someone, and now they actually get hurt because of me. Like I said, maybe every once in a while you'll be able to find something like that, but it's few and far between. I always try to keep myself out of the drama, out of the bullshit, when everyone else was jumping on that bandwagon of content for YouTube. It became popular to slam people, to slam games, to slam. And I didn't ever really adopt that formula. In 2016, people wanted me to do that. They basically said, if you're going to diversify your content, you should have series where all you do is slam shit. And I said, well, I don't want to do that. If there's a game I really feel strongly about is bad, like Homefront: The Revolution, then I'll make a video about it and be honest. But at the same time, I'm not going to just be a person who sits here and slams things. I'm not going to be one of the negative, angry critics of the internet who literally is just here for drama purposes. I want to be happy when a game is good and give it the credit it deserves. I want to be honest with my viewing audience. And because of that, I did not fall in line with everyone else who was trying to follow the algorithm. Okay? And that's okay. Is it regrettable that sadly my channels and everything fell out of prominence on YouTube because I refused to play the algorithm game? Yeah, it is. Because at one point, I was on top of the world, right? But at the same time, it's 2022. I'm putting out content that I enjoy. I still have a dedicated audience that enjoys the content that I put out. And at the end of the day, we can all sleep soundly saying we all had a good time together. No one got hurt, right? And we could do it all again tomorrow. That's the best feeling in the world. You know? I don't have to worry about, man, what did I do today? Did I personally hurt someone or so, you know what, or something just to get over on my own expense? I don't know how a lot of content creators sleep at night. In reality, I just don't think they have a conscience, or they've shut off their morality so that they can continue to spew out the hateful stuff that they put out on a daily basis. I just don't understand how you could live like that. I would actually lose my mind knowing that stuff that I'm doing is hurting people all over the place just so I can make a buck today. Like, there's really, for me, there's really no justification for that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't understand it. I've never been that kind of person. I would much rather be lower down where I am and be able to say I'm having a good time and I can sleep soundly at night than be way up here because I was an asshole to so many people who, you know what I mean? I'll be the guy on level 1 down here than be a Keemstar. I would never want to be a Keemstar. I would fucking hate my life and hate my own guts because I have that. Probably, admittedly, it's because I was raised as a Roman Catholic, you know? I was raised with a moral compass of knowing right and wrong, and you know, you don't hurt others to get over for yourself, and, you know, a lot of those religious teachings kind of ingrained in me over the years, and I could not live with myself to be someone like that. I couldn't, you know, and I very well could have. I was popular before 90% of the people who made it on YouTube being negative dickheads, you know, but, you know, there's a price for being true to yourself, and that's why who I am, and that's why I'm at the level I'm at, and, you know, I'm okay with that. I told you guys, I like having these personal streams with you. I like talking, having an actual discussion with you about stuff, as opposed to having a chat that is so full of toxic garbage that no one can even say hi to each other, because every line is a fucking stupid emo, a meme, an insult, something dumb. You know, it's just like a bunch of people throwing shit against a wall, splattering everywhere. Who wants that to be their fucking place of business? You know, I like having personal interactions with you guys and having meaningful conversations and the like. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I absolutely love it. Since I became a full-time live streamer, like I said, my eyes were opened to how this has meaning and how this is fun, you know? So, yeah, and, you know, that if I pride myself on that, I guess a lot of people will say, well, Phil, that's because you're a loser. You're a loser because you're not rich and you're not famous and you're not this and you're not that, and you had opportunity to be, but you blew it all. And I said, well, oh well, I'm proud of that. I guess I'm proud to be a loser. Right? I'm proud to be a loser who can live with himself and say, at least I'm having a good time with my life, you know? And I think that's funny about that too, because you wonder, when you look at a lot of these people who seem to have it all, right? Do they really have it all? Because I'm the one sitting here with a married happily, meaningful relationship, meaningful life with a family, a house that I like. I'm in a living situation that's good, you know? The only thing I need to do, basically, is build my channel up a little bit bigger so that I don't have these financial constraints where, oh my God, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, which is how it feels a lot of the time because of my financial burdens and responsibilities. But outside of that, everything else is good in my life. You know what I mean? So I'm happy. Like I tell you guys, I'm about to turn 40 years old. And most people, when they hit around 40, they have that midlife crisis. Oh my God, look where I am. I'm in a position in life where, you know, I got a wife and kids, and I got this financial burden and that going on, and man, I wish I didn't have all of that. And then you run out and you buy a Ferrari and you drive it around, a sports car, to try to look fancy, and you think that you're some hot shit, and you wish that you were 20 years old again. I don't wish I was 20 years old again. I'm happier now, today, than when I was 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm actually happier now than when I was 20. So why would I want to go back to that? But that's what, like, I feel my life has always been a build, an uphill build to something good. While these guys over here, they're already up there, but, you know, what do they really have in their lives? Maybe they are happy, and that's fine. You know, PewDiePie, by all reports, PewDiePie has a great personal life, right? He's happily married. He's healthy. He's got a ton of money. Good for him. Good. I'm happy for him, quite frankly. You know, let those people be successful. I'm the older I get, the more I'm learning. It's about me in the here and now and us and what we do. It's not about what everyone else out there does. You know what I'm saying? It's not at all. It's all about being enjoyable with what you do on a daily basis and being happy with your own life and what you've got, being grateful for what you've got, and aspiring to do better, of course, and aspiring for growth and aspiring for something. Everyone always wants something better for themselves or their family or their business, right? But at the same time, understanding that that's not the end-all, be-all of happiness of life, right? Like the question here from Big Papa Phil was, you know, what is the thing that you feel like you're the most proud of over the years? And the answer is that I'm still here doing what I love, and I'm not upset about anything bad that's happened in my past, because I very well could be. I could sit here every day and have sour grapes about the things that have happened. Oh, my channel used to be so much bigger. Oh, I used to be so much more popular, and I used to do this and I used to be able to go to conventions constantly because I made so much money on YouTube ad revenue. I could take entire weeks off of content creation to go to a convention and shit like that. And I haven't done, you know what I mean? You know, I'm in a situation where that's just not viable shit anymore, you know? And it's just my reality. And that's, I'm okay with that. I actually love my life. Maybe that is the greatest accomplishment of my entire career online, is that I love my life. You know? Maybe that's actually should have been just the short answer in a nutshell. No regrets. There you go. All right. Anything else before we get started with Elden Ring? What's up, Mika? I am having a good day, thank you. In particular, if you haven't noticed, my post-nasal drip isn't bad today. For the first time in a million years, my post-nasal drip is not bothering me today. Some days it's really horrible, and today it's actually not bad at all. The rarity, but I enjoy the days when it's not. There you go. What's for dinner? I think today, we're going to have ravioli. I think we got like a spinach ravioli, and we're going to have it in like a tomato basil sauce with a side of garlic bread or something like that. Very Italian dinner today. I think that's what we're doing. Okay. I guess, guys, it is time to start with Elden Ring. What do you think? Shall we boot her up and get started here? So just so you guys remember, we're in the Lake of Rot. I have absolutely no idea what's coming next. It just seems like a lot of these side dungeons lead to another thing, lead to another thing. It's just like this domino effect in the game. So I have absolutely no idea what's coming. But man, it's challenging, but it's fun too to see all the different locations and everything. So, okay. All right, I guess we get started. All right, cool. Thank you guys for your support so far. Thanks for chilling. Thanks for the engagement. And I think it's time to get started with Elden Ring. Ooh. All right, cool.